This interview has been recorded at Radiant Police Station. I'm Constable 537 Dean Chapel, stationed at Southend Police Station. Another officer present is?
Yes, 1721 Sanford Station at Southend.
The date is Wednesday the 17th of January 1995 and the time by my watch is 11:35 AM. And I'm interviewing, can you give us your full name please?
William George Jasper.
Right, William, before we go ahead with speaking to you, continuing obviously interviews that we've had with you before, some things I have to point out to you. The first is that you were cautioned when you were first arrested, and obviously every time you've been interviewed you've been further cautioned. I have to remind you of that caution. You do not have to say anything unless you wish to do so, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something you later rely on in court. Anything you say may be given in evidence. You understand that?
Yeah.
Right. Secondly, you have the right to free legal advice. You've had that ever since you've been in custody. You've had a conversation with your solicitor again this morning on the phone. Are you quite happy to go ahead with this interview without him being present?
Yeah.
Right. Any time during the interview or whilst you're in custody you want to speak with him, and just let me, Bob, or anyone else know, and we'll get that arranged for you. Okay. Finally, at the conclusion of this interview, there'll be notice that we serve on you, which basically tells you what happens to the tapes, and I'll just get you to sign for that. Okay. Any problems at all?
You happy about the way you've been treated, Billy? You haven't got, have you got any complaints?
No, not really.
What I'd like to do is just cover what happened yesterday afternoon, because we brought you back down from Stratford, where you were put in detention here as such, and then later in the day we actually spoke to you on tape, or tried to, but there was a bit of a problem with the tapes. Can you just confirm what the problem was with the tapes?
Tapes wouldn't work.
Yeah. Can you remember what happened?
Just kept switching back off.
Yeah. Right. And so we sat down and we spoke to you regarding certain things. Mainly our conversation revolved around people associated with a shooting incident where 3 people were charged, yeah? Do you remember? And who was the other bloke you said? Stone, yeah. What I'm getting at is we haven't directly questioned you in relation to why you're here, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Right. And that information that we was talking about, what we was talking about, that shooting, I was given to understand that your knowledge of that was basically that you was in a pub in Canning Town and you came out as a result of somebody saying that somebody had been shot and there was a body in the car or something, and you went out and had a look and there was a body there.
That's right.
But basically that's like a historical thing that's been investigated by the police and all the rest of it. Yeah. Also, we discussed your knowledge of people in London, or sorry, in the Wood Green area and Canning Town and there, and those people perhaps are related in relation to why you're in custody, and that was yeah, Jesse Gale, Clark, yeah, and we was trying to get some information regarding their backgrounds, like where they live, telephone numbers and things like that, weren't we? We didn't, although we got some information from that. There was nothing, there wasn't a great deal, was there? It was sort of, wasn't very clear about them. But more importantly, what did happen was, and I see you've got them in your pocket, your notes that you've been preparing. Now that is in relation to the grounds while you're under arrest, isn't it? Yeah. And would I be right in saying that you've been making some notes overnight and early this morning? Right. Now, are you going to show us what the content of that is now? Oh, yeah, been busy. Right, Mr. Jasper's just handed me 1, 2, 3,
12 pages.
is it 12, is it?
Does this all cover the same incident, yeah? All on part and parcel of the same. Does it
11 or 12 pages.
Does it continue from where you finished off, or does it then go back into prior to sort of the cocaine transportation and all that kind of stuff? Does it go prior to that with meeting people, or does it just carry on from when you dropped off the car? Because obviously we're going to have to stop and have a read through that, aren't we, at some stage? Yeah. Is that all of it? Is it? Or do you reckon you'll need time to write more? That's about as much as you know.
Why didn't you number the pages? Might have been a bit helpful. I dropped them, going to be the right muddle, didn't I? It's alright, no problem. Okay, yeah. Well, there's obviously a lot here that we need to read, go through. And it may, obviously there's going to be need for us to read this perhaps before we speak to you again, so I'll put that just aside for a minute. When we took you out the other day, were you happy with where you went?
More or less, yeah.
Right. Now, I'm going to ask you some other questions. You changed your mind about what happened at Battlesbridge, yeah? And it may become clear in those notes that you've prepared, but in the meantime, before I look at all that, just going to ask you, do you remember when you said that you went over Battlesbridge on the way back from collecting this cocaine, and that the bloke stopped and he walked off somewhere? Now that's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you told us that yesterday as you were walking up the corridor. Yeah? Is that right?
Yeah.
Before we got into the interview room. And it's something that we weren't in a position to discuss yesterday because the tapes bloody didn't work, right? But why was that made up?
Because I wasn't prepared to lay all my cards on the table.
Right. Okay. And in relation to the pub where you waited outside, yeah, that still stands, is that right?
Yeah.
The scene you took us to, that lane, yeah, are you sure that that is the right spot?
90% sure.
Why do you think that is the right spot?
Garden centre on the corner.
Right, okay. And having recognised the garden centre, you knew that there was a lane next to it. And what about where you stop up that lane? Why did you stop there? Is it?
Because I was told to stop it.
Yeah, but I mean, why? When we went up there, what features did you recognise that identified it as a spot where the gates? Right. That is the only thing. Right.
In relation to that, you know when you showed us that site, yeah, those gates,
Yeah.
and then we drove down a little bit and spun round in that, it's like a farm or something there. Can you recall whether, when you was there, did you actually drive past there?
I think I done
You
it.
never went past there with him. You didn't go down that far. You're quite happy with that.
Yeah.
It was only prior to. It was definitely prior to that farm or that turning round point. Yeah. Right. Okay. going on from that, what you're now saying, whereas before you said you went to Bellsbridge and you got out and took a bag over into a field and out of sight, you then went from there and you took him away back to London. Yeah. And then, if we just go on from there very briefly, you dropped him off, haven't you?
Yeah.
What did you do after that?
Took the car back
To
Peacock Gym.
Peacock Gym. And you left it there, did you? Did you meet anyone at Peacock Gym?
No.
Right, so how did you leave the vehicle?
In the forecourt next to the wall,
Right. Keys?
above the visor,
Or anything in the vehicle?
head bag.
The head bag. This is the one when he first came out, yeah. And I was seeing that thing you've given us that you saw in that head bag at the scene of the gates and that 2 weapons, yeah. Were they still in the head bag or had he taken them with him?
Just a shotgun.
Just a shotgun. So the 9mm Browning pistol had gone. He took that with him. Right, okay. When did he take that out?
I don't know. Probably on the way back to the car.
Right, he didn't take it out whilst he was sitting in the car with you on the way to London. Right, okay. Have you ever seen that car since? No? What do you understand's happened to the motor then?
Probably crushed.
You don't know. No. So who is it left down to sort out? Would he have done it himself, or do you think he would have?
Connection.
Yeah. Right, okay. What happened to the, obviously you're saying that he brought back a rucksack of some sort, yeah? And he described in the very first interview we had, it was like a foot and a half square rucksack, yeah? Small size, not. Where did that go?
He got out with it.
He got out of it when you dropped him off. Do you know where that went from there? Do you know what happened?
As he got out of the car with the rucksack, Gal see us put up outside the wine bar.
Yeah.
Gal come out, give him the rucksack, got into a green coloured Rover, new shape, drove off into the wine bar.
So you and Gal got into the Rover, and then he went in the white bowl the other, yeah. So Gal's taken the bag
Rucksack.
into the rucksack into the Rover and then gone.
Yeah.
Is that his Rover?
No. Rover.
Right. Okay. Do you know where it went from there? Have you heard what happened to it since then? Did you get any of that gear at all?
Couple of snorts.
Yeah. When was that? Is that when did you get
Next
that?
night.
Next night. Right. And you got £5 for doing that, for transporting that. And who paid you the 5? And where was that?
In the cars here at Morton's.
Right. Was that an arranged meet or what?
Yeah.
And how was that done?
Through Gal.
Alright. So how did that get sorted out? And how did you hear about it? Go through that with me.
Called up at Morton's. Gal come out in the bag. Gal got in the Rover. Gone into the pub. Gal pulled up the side of the car, undone the window, and he said to me, right, take the car back. Head tomorrow night at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock in Moulton's.
Yeah.
Alright. Did you go there with anyone? How long did you go in there for?
Couple of hours.
Did you wait for him or was he already there?
He was already there.
Did you drunk with him for a couple of hours? Did you? What did you talk about?
General shit.
Was that the time when you sort of put to him about the shootings? Or
Yeah.
You go through it again, what you said to him and his response?
I got in there, he said to me, what do you want to drink? I said Jack Daniels and Coke. He got me a large Jack Daniels and Coke. Had a couple of mouthfuls of that. He said to me, I'm going to the toilet, give it half a minute, follow me out there. Went out there, he was in the cubicle. I've gone in the cubicle with him. We had a snort of cocaine each. He turned round, got the money out, give me the money. I said to him something like, you can't fucking talk him out of the game. He gave a little grin, smirk, said like, don't ask questions. Blah, 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 what are you, a cozzo? And, you know, that was me intro to just shut up.
Right. And nothing else was spoken about it then? No. Right, okay. Where's the £5 now? Do you bang that up or
Spunked
what?
it.
Have you? What, a lot?
Really?
It's quite a lot of money, isn't it, in 4 weeks?
Not really.
I suppose it goes, isn't it?
Especially on drugs.
Yeah.
How much you pay for your drugs in there?
300 quid a day.
As much as that?
What's it go? Well, you heroin, is it?
Rocks.
Yeah. What's that, £100 all the time or?
200 quid a time on rocks, 100 quid a time on brown.
Yeah. Soon go on that then, wouldn't it? A couple of weeks will be gone, wouldn't it?
Couple of bits of crubber.
Alright. I see you also in the first page of that report, the thing you've written out, you mentioned, what do you know about him?
He's a friend.
Is he?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
What else do you know about him?
Tournament, minder, kickboxer, and all that. So it's with one big circle.
How long has he been in the game?
Ages. Years.
Years. Yeah. Is he known by Patsy Clark as well?
Oh, yeah.
They all sort of know, it's all like a web, is it? So you've known Gal for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And for about 7 or so, isn't it? Yeah. When was it all of this arranged about picking up the gear and everything?
Week before.
Right, so if we say, you mentioned the 5th, or the actual incidents that we're concerned with are obviously the 6th and 7th, which is a Wednesday, Thursday. So what sort of time, what sort of date would you put? End of November, middle of November? You actually got into December, when you think back, and sort of what day of the week it was, what sort of, because I know you had a meeting in a restaurant or something.
At the end of November. Something like that. I'm not too keen on the dates.
Right, okay. And then how did it all start up then? Phone calls, call around the house, or what? How did it all go ahead? Right from the beginning.
See Gal in Walton's. He said, do you want to come down to the Mexican gaff? Went down there, sitting in there having a drink. I mean, sat at the table and started talking.
Right. And that was the first you knew of it, was it?
Mm.
Right. Okay. And was you there then?
No.
Not no. So how was his name brought into it? Just how was his name brought into it? Patches and that.
Because little words were slipped up, you know what I mean?
What whilst you were discussing it in the restaurant?
Mm.
Right, because obviously it's quite in depth in the first couple of pages on the history on what the job was all about and everything. I mean, where did all that come out?
Well, half and half, you know what I mean? In the restaurant. Patsy ain't too happy. She had a word. She got in touch with me. Blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah, just trying to establish really, mate, on how it all comes up, you know. We've got to try and picture everything from the beginning, haven't we? How the whole thing's set up. Because obviously if we're going to go and speak to these people, we need to know before we get there the whole event as it's happened. So we know whether they're lying to us or not. We talk to them.
In that restaurant, who paid for the meal?
Gal.
Did he? How'd he pay?
Cash.
Do you remember what you had to eat?
Just like snack things.
Do you remember who served you? The meeting that took place in the restaurant, where they discussing the fact that they could rob them. Yeah. What was the exact conversation, really?
to Gail, well, why don't we rob them? Gail said there'd probably be too many comebacks. And we'll take them out of the game.
What did you mean by that, taking out the game? What did you understand that to mean?
Put them out there misery.
Kill them?
Yeah. Gail turned around and said, no, just rob them.
And what was your feeling?
Well,
It wasn't down to you that you was... I mean...
I just thought that they was going to do a deal.
Yeah.
Obviously, somewhere along the line they've changed their mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, when you look at what you're saying, you're all sitting there and they're saying they're gonna, you know, talking about killing them. Gets a bit serious, doesn't it?
Not really.
Well, I view it seriously,
yeah, but I've been brought up like that.
But was you more to the point? I mean, how far were you willing to go if it came to killing them?
I wouldn't have gone.
If you knew they was going to be killed, you wouldn't have gone. But providing they was going to be robbed, you'd be willing to go.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm just looking at, you know, your statement you made. You know, I'm not trying to trip you up, but I mean, all this is going to be of evidential value sooner or later, isn't it? And I just want to get it clear, because some people might say, well, hang on a minute, it might be you that sort of set it up, you know, that you might be in a bit deeper than what you're saying. You know, you're shaking your head, but, you know, this is where I've got. Even, I mean, is this right, what's in your statement? Because here it says that, you know, there's a dispute over the money, that there's money owed, that they're going to rip them off for the drugs. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then Gail said, we can rob them. So we can't rob them, as there will be comebacks. So we might as well take them out of the game. And Gail said, let's just rob them. Gail said to me, Bill, do you want to earn five large ones, $5 grand presumably, for driving them? So at that stage, you were still happy that it was going to be
A robbery.
a robbery. Right. Okay. I've had a brief look at this statement that you've made of your own. When did you make it? Just last night? I know you started it yesterday, but did you finish it last night or did you finish it this morning?
Last night and this morning.
Right. There's quite a bit in there. And they'll become an exhibit later on. But is everything you've said in this true?
100%.
Another thing I want to ask you, have you ever been in Essex before?
I haven't really.
Well, have you ever been in Essex before? I'll ask you again because I'm not sure whether you have or whether you haven't.
Well, I've been in Essex, Chelmsford.
Have you? When was that? What, Chelmsford Prison?
Oh, Chelmsford, Chelmsford Village.
Chelmsford Village. When was that?
Last year sometime.
Right. What was that for?
Go to a funeral.
Was it? Have you ever been through Rattendon before?
No.
Or South Woodham? Or Battlesbridge?
No.
Not at all. So you're 100% right up front on all this.
I'm just getting pissed off with this because you just keep fucking saying I'm 100%, I'm 100%. It's my fucking life that's at risk.
Yeah.
I ain't wasting fucking time, you know what I mean? people in the court cells know that Essex police are coming to take me away, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm going to go back to the fucking prison and say, Jasper was in court, Essex police coming to take
Well, I
me.
know. I mean, let me assure you that your safety is being considered and that things are being discussed today with my supervisory officers this afternoon. And
100%.
this, we was considering perhaps taking you out, right? Just to see if you can go over the route you took and everything, and have another look at that lane, because when we went up there it was thick fog, wasn't it? Just to sort of reassure yourself and reassure us that you've got the right spot.
I've got the right spot.
But do you agree that when we went up there it was dark and it was foggy?
Yeah. And when I went up there before, it was fucking dark and misty.
Was it? Is it worth us taking you out? Just to have a look round?
It's up to you.
Yeah.
know
I
that-
think it might pay just to go up, because we've been down there, right? And we've been down there like in daylight, and you get a totally different picture, you know what I mean? That's what I said to you earlier about identifying the gate.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing you're going by.
Garden centre, because as we went past
Oh,
the
yeah.
garden centre, I said you left here.
Yeah, yeah. But there are some like similar sort of roads down there, you know. So I think it might well pay to take him out and just check that out. Anything you want to say?
Yeah. It's not that we doubt you or anything like that. We're just trying to sort of, because you sort of, when we're coming down here from
I know what you're
Stratford,
I know what you're trying to do. You're just trying to fucking trick me. That's what you're trying to
No,
do.
we're
If you
not.
don't want it, then we fucking forget
No.
it. We rip the piece of paper up, and you can go and fucking.
Stratford, yeah, down here. You said you've been to Rayleigh before. Yeah, because you were sitting in the back of the car and you went, oh, it's down here on the left, and I said, no, it's the right. And you said, no, it's left if you're coming from the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where's that from? I mean, obviously no Rayleigh then, didn't it?
Yeah,
So that's it. So in the back of my head, like, I think, well, you just said you're not from Essex.
Yeah, we'll come down here, do some feeding.
Right. So have you ever been in here before?
No.
In this neck? Right.
Because when you come out the train station, you come up the top of the hill.
Yeah.
It's up that way. But when you're looking out that way, it's on the right, on the left.
Yeah, train station's up there, isn't it?
Train station's at the from the front. Do a right, do a left, down the hill.
So you've been here before. That's the only thing we're getting at, because you mentioned Rayleigh and you knew Rayleigh, and you're not. I've never been to Essex before, so we think, well, hang on, you just say you mentioned Rayleigh. So it's only because you've been down here before. How long ago was that then?
A couple of weeks,
You were down here a couple of weeks ago.
about a week.
Oh, really? Oh, that's soon, really. Then. Did you go anywhere else?
No.
Just sort of like this Rayleigh area, was it? Anyone with you?
Cab driver.
Oh. Or he came down with you, or he brought you down here?
777-300.
Or so is that a local cab firm, is it? What, for here, or
For
is
here.
it? Oh, I got a good memory.
I've
So
got a very good memory.
How many times have you been down here?
Once.
That was about a week ago.
Yeah.
But you came down on a train?
Yeah.
Right. So you would have gone through Battlesbridge? Don't know where that line goes, I presume it does.
I know.
No.
No, it's a branch line, isn't it?
Didn't go through Battlesbridge.
No, it's a branch line, isn't it? Oh, mate.
Alright. That's,
Yeah.
that's the only. That's alright. That's the only thing I was sort of thinking. Hang on. And that's the only thing I asked you, mate. Yeah. Straight up. innit?
I came down here to get a cab to rob him. But he ended up giving me money anyway. And I took him to Romford. And I took him to the East End.
So what happened there then? Did you rob him or didn't you?
No, never.
But you say he give you some money?
Yeah. I made out I needed some money. I fannied him, conned him.
Right.
So he helped you out, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
About 40 quid.
Yourself?
It's easy. Talk a bit.
Alright, I think we need to go through this one.
Yeah, we'll hold on to that for a minute. You're right, you happy the way you've been treated and everything? I know, I keep saying that, and I know you're getting pissed off because you're turning around and you're saying to us, well look, I'm trying to help you out, but you're treating me like as though you've done something wrong. You know, as though you was a prisoner in our custody. Well, you are, and I mean, that has come as a result of what you said, hasn't it? But as I say, really, there's got to be a decision made as to how we're going to treat you, isn't there? And I just hope that you can perhaps bear with us with that. But I mean, from what you said, I mean, at the time, this is what this conspiracy is, that you were sitting there and that you was quite willing to sort of pick up some drugs and bring it all the way over here. But what we're saying is that you're the only one that's told us that. So it could all be made up. No, listen, it could all be made up, or it could all be true. And we've got to bear in mind, and I quite agree, that it's information that you're giving us and that you've come forward. I'm just trying to keep it in perspective, you know. I don't want you sitting down the cells, worrying yourself as to what's going to happen. You know a fair bit about the law, I would imagine, and you know what can be proved and what can't be proved, and all the rest of it, can't you? But I think in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll get you taken out, just to have another look along that road, and just to make sure. I know you told me you was 100% sure, but it won't hurt to double check in daylight, because the lighting was bloody terrible that night we went down there. Alright, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, might as well look at it.
Yeah. Time is just like it's 9 minutes past 12.